December 2025 feels as if standing on an edge. Many sense the rules of the world are shifting. Fear mixes with sharp intuition. Long ago, Edgar Cayce, called the sleeping prophet, spoke while asleep. In trance, he read the Akashic Records and gave warnings for our time. He said a great turn would arrive. This message claims 2026 is that tipping point. What changes when the clock crosses that line? Stay alert. Watch closely. Subscribe to Wise Predictor on YouTube. Tap the thumbs up and share this video. Comment what you feel coming. Your voice matters now more than before. Why trust Edgar Cayce? Because his record speaks through time. His words were written down, dated, and saved long before events happened. This was not rumor or memory changed later. Many of his readings were recorded by stenographers and kept on file. Today, people can check them against real history. Again and again, the details match. This is why Cayce still draws attention decades after his death. One of his strongest warnings came in early 1929. Months before the collapse, Cayce spoke of a major financial fall. He warned that markets were built on false value and heavy greed. At that time, stocks were rising fast and hope was high. Very few believed a crash was possible. 6 months later, the stock market collapsed. Banks failed. Jobs vanished. The Great Depression began, just as he said. Cayce also spoke about another global event before it took shape. In the early 1930s, he described a Second World War. He said it would grow out of unresolved anger from the First War. He named key nations and explained how power would shift. He even gave a rough timeline, saying the conflict would peak in the early 1940s. World War II followed that path with shocking accuracy. He also made personal predictions that were later confirmed. Cayce spoke about the deaths of 2 United States presidents before they happened. He did not speak in dramatic language. His tone was calm and factual. Years later, those presidents died under the conditions he described. These readings were already written down and stored, which makes them difficult to dismiss. Another example came from ancient history. Cayce spoke about hidden records near the Dead Sea. He said old texts were buried in jars and would one day be found. At the time, no proof existed. Then in 1947, the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in caves, stored in clay jars. Scholars were stunned. Cayce had described this years earlier. Cayce also talked about science long before it was common knowledge. He spoke of atomic energy when coal and oil ruled the world. He warned that this power could help or destroy humanity. Later, nuclear energy became real, just as he said. He also mentioned focused light used for healing and tools. Today, lasers are used in medicine, industry, and research. These examples raise an important question. How did he know? Cayce said he was not guessing. He explained that while in trance, his normal mind was asleep. Another level of awareness took over. In that state, he said he could read the Akashic Records. He described them as a timeless record of all events, past, present, and future. According to Cayce, every thought and action leaves a mark. These marks form a record beyond time. When he entered trance, he accessed that field. He would ask questions, and answers came as clear statements. He did not see visions. He did not speak in symbols. He spoke as if reading a report. Cayce insisted this field was not owned by any religion. He said it was part of natural law. Anyone could access it with training, but very few could do it clearly. He warned that ego and fear could block accuracy. This is why he lived a simple life and charged little for his readings. What makes his work stand out is the consistency. Many psychics make broad claims. Cayce gave dates, names, and causes. His readings were not changed later. They were archived and cross-checked. This allows modern researchers to compare his words with real events. He was often wrong about small details, but right about major patterns. He admitted this himself. He said the future is shaped by choice, but large cycles are harder to change. When events align with strong collective action, they tend to happen. Cayce believed humanity moves through repeating cycles. When old systems no longer work, they break. He warned that ignoring moral balance leads to collapse. His predictions were not meant to scare people. He said they were warnings so people could prepare and choose better paths. Because of this record, many believe his words about the years ahead deserve attention. He did not speak often about dates far beyond his life. When he did, the tone was serious. He said certain years would mark turning points for the world. According to him, these moments reveal hidden truths and force change. Trust does not mean blind belief. It means weighing evidence. Cayce left behind thousands of readings. Many failed. Many succeeded. The ones that succeeded were clear, early, and specific. This track record is why his name still matters when speaking about what may come next. Edgar Cayce spoke of 3 cosmic principles that guide human history. He said these laws are always active, even when people ignore them. They explain why the world changes in waves, not by chance. These principles help explain why the coming years feel tense and unstable. The first principle is that Earth is a living being. Cayce said the planet has awareness and balance, just like the human body. When the body is harmed, it reacts. When Earth is harmed, it also responds. Human thoughts, actions, and emotions send energy into the planet every day. War, greed, and hatred are not only social problems. Cayce called them energetic toxins. These toxins disturb Earth's balance. When too much negative energy builds up, the planet seeks correction. This correction may appear as earthquakes, storms, floods, or fires. These events are not punishments. They are part of a healing response. Cayce explained that natural disasters help release pressure. Just as fever helps the body burn infection, extreme weather helps Earth clear imbalance. He said the planet shifts its crust, air, and waters to restore order. This process can be sudden and intense. In recent years, weather patterns have grown more extreme. Heat, cold, rain, and wind reach unusual levels. Cayce said such patterns signal a cleansing phase. The year 2025 fits this pattern. He warned that before major global change, Earth would go through purification. This does not mean all areas suffer equally. Some regions feel more stress because of local energy buildup. The second principle is national karma. Cayce taught that nations carry collective responsibility. Every country builds a karmic record through its choices. Acts of kindness add balance. Acts of violence and greed add debt. Over time, this debt seeks resolution. He used a simple rule: as you sow, so shall you reap. This law applies not only to people, but also to entire continents. Regions built through conquest, slavery, or destruction attract future correction. This correction may come through economic collapse, social unrest, or natural upheaval. Cayce said land itself holds memory. When blood is spilled or nature is abused, the ground records it. These records do not fade. When pressure grows too strong, the land reacts. This can result in earthquakes, rising seas, or internal conflict. He warned that centers of modern power are not immune. Wealth and technology do not cancel karmic law. In fact, great power often brings greater consequence. Nations that shaped the modern world through force will face tests that match their past actions. This does not mean destruction is fixed. Cayce stressed that awareness can soften outcomes. When nations act with care and humility, karmic weight can ease. When they ignore warning signs, correction grows sharper. The third principle is the Atlantis connection. Cayce believed most souls alive today once lived in Atlantis. He described Atlantis as a highly advanced civilization with powerful energy tools. These tools were based on crystals that could amplify thought and force. According to Cayce, Atlanteans misused this power. Greed and control replaced balance. Instead of serving life, technology served ego. This caused massive destruction and the fall of their world. He said many souls escaped and returned across future ages. Cayce taught that reincarnation brings lessons back into focus. Souls repeat themes until they learn restraint. He said the modern world now faces the same test. In 2025 and 2026, humanity holds tools similar in danger and promise. Artificial intelligence and nuclear power reflect this moment. Both can help humanity or end it. Both respond to human intent. Used without wisdom, they echo the crystal misuse of Atlantis. Used with care, they can uplift life. Cayce warned that memory of Atlantis lives within the soul. This is why many feel urgency and fear without clear reason. The soul recognizes the pattern. The test is not about technology itself. It is about choice. Humanity now stands between repetition and growth. The same mistake does not need to happen again. Cayce said the lesson is simple but hard. Power must serve life, not control it. When balance is honored, cycles can change. Edgar Cayce gave many readings about Earth changes. These were not general warnings. They named places, order, and causes. He said land would shift as part of balance, not random disaster. These changes would come when pressure inside Earth reached a limit. According to him, several regions would feel this first. He spoke clearly about the west coast of the United States. Cayce warned that major damage would come to California before the east coast. He said Los Angeles and San Francisco would suffer serious destruction. In his words, California would be broken up. This did not mean total loss, but major changes to land and coastline. Cayce linked California to an ancient land called Lemuria. He said this land once held a spiritual culture long before modern history. The energy of that land still exists. Over time, modern material focus clashed with this older spiritual base. This tension, he said, created stress within the land itself. Fault lines are not only physical in Cayce's view. They also carry emotional and historical pressure. When imbalance grows, the land reacts. California, filled with wealth, desire, and speed, sits on land that once valued harmony. Cayce said this contrast made the region unstable. He gave trigger signs to watch. He said volcanic activity in other parts of the world would signal coming change. He pointed to Mount Vesuvius and Mount Etna in Italy. When strong eruptions occur there, events would follow elsewhere. He said changes in California could happen within 3 months of such activity. Cayce also spoke of the Ring of Fire. This chain of volcanoes circles the Pacific Ocean. He warned it would awaken strongly before major land shifts. Many believe this process would begin in 2025. Increased earthquakes and eruptions would act as early signs. After the West Coast, Cayce spoke of the East Coast. He said the change there would be sudden, not slow. He used the phrase, "in the twinkling of an eye." This means instant change, not years of decline. He warned that land would disappear underwater. New York and parts of Connecticut were named in his readings. Cayce said these areas faced special risk. New York, as a center of global finance and power, sat on what he called a karmic crosshair. The energy of control and excess made it vulnerable. He explained that water would reclaim land as part of cleansing. The Atlantic coastline would move inward. Bays would widen. Low land would sink. This was not described as punishment, but correction. Water restores balance where pressure has built too long. Cayce linked these changes to a pole shift. He did not mean the poles flipping overnight. He described Earth's crust slipping over its core. This movement would shift weight and stress across the planet. Even a small shift could cause massive surface change. He said ice plays a key role. As ice melts at the poles, weight changes. This affects Earth's balance. Pressure moves toward weaker zones. Coastlines respond first. This is why oceans rise and land sinks in certain places. Europe was also part of these readings. Cayce said the map of Northern Europe would change greatly. Some land would sink, while other areas would rise. He said the south of Europe would gain land as the north lost it. Scandinavia and parts of the United Kingdom were mentioned. Cayce warned that coastlines would be redrawn. Islands could change shape. Low regions would flood. These changes would not happen evenly. Some areas would remain stable while nearby land shifted fast. He tied this to Arctic and Antarctic changes. As polar regions lose ice, the pressure on Earth's crust shifts. This movement can trigger volcanic activity in distant places. Volcanoes are release valves for internal stress. Cayce said Europe would feel these effects after early signs appear elsewhere. The process would unfold in stages, but some moments would be sudden. He stressed that human awareness could soften outcomes, but not stop all change. These geographical prophecies were part of a larger pattern. Cayce believed Earth moves to restore balance when pushed too far. Land rises and falls as part of that correction. He warned that ignoring early signs would lead to shock later. Edgar Cayce did not only speak about danger, he also spoke about safety. In his readings, some regions were described as more stable during times of earth change. These places would offer refuge, food, and balance while other areas face stress. He said safety did not mean comfort or wealth, but ground that could hold life steady. One of the main safe regions Cayce described was interior North America. He named several states as more protected from major land shifts. These included Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. He also said parts of southern Canada would remain stable. These areas would avoid the worst earthquakes and flooding. The reason for this safety was geological. Cayce spoke about the North American craton. This is some of the oldest rock on Earth. It is thick, dense, and deeply rooted. Unlike coastal areas, it does not sit on young, unstable plates. Because of this, it moves very little even when the rest of the planet shifts. Cayce said this ancient rock acts like a backbone. When pressure moves across the continent, it spreads slowly instead of breaking suddenly. This gives the land time to adjust. He said this is why the interior would stay mostly intact while edges break apart. He also said these regions would become centers of food production. As coastal farmland is damaged by salt water or flooding, interior land would grow in value. Rain patterns would support crops. Soil would remain rich. These areas would become what he called a granary of safety. People would move inward, not outward. Cities near oceans would lose population. Small towns and farming regions would grow again. Cayce said this shift would change social values. Community would matter more than speed. Local support would replace global dependence. Southern Canada was also named as stable. Cayce said its land would remain fertile and calm. He believed these regions would help feed others during times of shortage. Borders would matter less than survival and cooperation. Cayce warned that safety zones are not places to hide from responsibility. He said those who live there would carry duty. They would be asked to help others, share food, and offer shelter. Stability brings obligation, not escape. One of Cayce's most surprising statements involved Russia. In a reading dated 3976-29, he said, "From Russia comes the hope of the world." This line has caused debate for decades. Cayce made it clear this was not about politics or control. He said this hope would not come from communism or any system of force. Instead, it would rise from a change in values. Russia, after long struggle and suffering, would turn toward freedom of spirit and brotherhood among people. Cayce believed the West would weaken under heavy material focus. He said obsession with wealth and power would drain meaning from life. Systems built only on profit would collapse under their own weight. This collapse would force a search for new values. At the same time, the East would change direction. Russia, in particular, would move away from control and fear. Cayce said hardship would strip away false systems. What remained would be a desire for fairness and shared purpose. He believed this shift would not be fast. It would come after pain and rebuilding. Russia would not lead through force, but through example. Its people would value community, faith, and cooperation over excess. Cayce also spoke of a future friendship between America and Russia. He said both nations would be wounded before healing. After loss and reflection, they would find common ground. This partnership would help stabilize the world. He said true peace would not come from treaties alone. It would come from shared understanding. When nations respect human dignity above profit, conflict loses strength. Cayce believed this bond between a renewed America and a changed Russia would help prevent global war. He warned that this outcome was not guaranteed. Choice mattered. Fear could delay it. Pride could block it. But the possibility existed. Cayce said safe zones are not only places on a map. They are also states of mind shaped by humility, service, and balance. These ideas were not meant to predict winners or losers. They described shifts in where stability could grow. Land, people, and values all move together. According to Cayce, safety follows balance, not power. Many people hear predictions and react with fear. The first instinct is survival. Sell the house. Move far away. Stock food. Hide money. Protect only family. This response feels natural, but Cayce warned it would not work. He said these are old Earth solutions for a changing world. When fear leads action, it often pulls trouble closer instead of pushing it away. Cayce taught that running does not guarantee safety. A safe place today may not be safe tomorrow. A risky place may pass untouched. He said many would move in panic and still face loss. Others would stay and be protected without knowing why. Location alone does not decide outcome. He warned against hoarding and isolation. When people act only for self, they weaken collective balance. Fear spreads fast. It lowers awareness and blocks clear thinking. This makes people miss signs and choose poorly. According to Cayce, fear blinds intuition. His core teaching was simple and repeated often. Spirit is the life, mind is the builder, physical is the result. This means consciousness comes first. Thought shapes action. Action shapes matter. The outer world reflects the inner state, both personal and shared. Cayce said maps and prophecies show probability, not fate. They describe what may happen if nothing changes. They are not fixed outcomes. Physical reality responds to collective thought patterns. When enough people hold fear, chaos grows stronger. When awareness rises, outcomes soften. He explained that Earth reacts not only to actions, but to emotional tone. Panic adds pressure. Anger sharpens events. Calm awareness slows damage. Compassion stabilizes systems. This is why some disasters stop suddenly or miss certain areas without clear reason. Cayce believed protection comes from frequency. Fear is a low frequency. It attracts confusion and disorder. When someone lives in constant fear, they move out of alignment with balance. This makes them more visible to disruption. Compassion, service, and trust raise frequency. These states align with stability. Cayce said people who live this way become harder to disturb, not because they control events, but because they move with them. He used the phrase invisible to the storm. This does not mean harm never comes. It means guidance appears at the right time. Cayce spoke often about intuitive protection. He said many are saved not by strength, but by timing. A delay, a change of plan, a sudden feeling to turn back. He described people missing flights that later crash. Others feel urged to move a week before flooding. Some feel called to help instead of flee and find safety through service. These moments feel small, but they matter. Cayce said intuition grows stronger when fear quiets. The mind becomes clearer. Signals are easier to hear. Guidance flows through calm awareness, not panic. When people trust this inner sense, they are led step by step. He warned that chasing safety can pull danger closer. When fear drives movement, decisions come from lack. This lowers clarity. It causes rushed choices and blind spots. Many losses come from fear-based action, not the event itself. Cayce taught that safety is not a place. It is a state of alignment. When thoughts, values, and actions match balance, life responds. This does not cancel all difficulty, but it changes how events unfold. He urged people to focus on service during unstable times. Helping others stabilizes the mind. It lifts frequency. It strengthens connection. Communities built on care recover faster than those built on fear. He also said that preparation is not wrong. Planning with calm awareness is wise. But planning driven by panic is harmful. The energy behind the action matters as much as the action itself. Cayce believed the coming changes were also tests. Not tests of strength or wealth, but of consciousness. Would people choose fear or trust? Separation or service? Control or balance? He said those who live with compassion often find protection without seeking it. Doors open, Paths appear. Help arrives. Not through force, but through alignment. In his view, the real solution was inner stability. When consciousness changes, the outer world follows. This law applies to individuals and to humanity as a whole. Many teachings say humanity is moving into a new age. This time is often called the Age of Aquarius. Cayce and others linked this age to intuition, awareness, and vibration. It is less about force and more about understanding. Less about control and more about harmony. This shift is not sudden, but it is clear. The old way of living was based on walls. Build walls around land. Build walls around money. Build walls around identity. Safety meant separation. Strength meant dominance. Progress meant taking more. This mindset shaped nations, systems, and cities. In the new age, this approach no longer works. Walls crack under pressure. Systems built on fear cannot hold. The world now reacts faster to imbalance. This is why many feel that old structures are failing all at once. The new way is not about building higher walls. It is about building consciousness. Awareness replaces force. Cooperation replaces control. Inner clarity replaces outer defense. Cayce said this shift was required, not optional. He believed intuition would become more important than logic alone. People would sense truth instead of being told. Vibration, meaning emotional and mental state, would shape experience more clearly. This is why mood, intent, and values now affect life so strongly. In this view, people watching these messages are not victims. Cayce said many souls alive today volunteered to be here. They chose to enter this time of change. Not to suffer, but to help guide balance. These are not random lives caught in chaos. They are witnesses and stabilizers. Souls who have lived through collapse before. Souls who carry memory beyond one lifetime. This idea changes the story from fear to purpose. Cayce connected this to Atlantis. He taught that many modern souls lived in that advanced world. They saw what happens when power grows faster than wisdom. They lived through loss caused by misuse of knowledge. Now, those souls return during a similar test. Technology is powerful again. Systems are global again. The same choice appears. Use power to control or to serve life. This time, the lesson must be learned. These returning souls are not here to save the world alone. They are here to hold steady awareness. To act as anchors during collapse. To remember balance when others forget it. Holding light does not mean pretending nothing is wrong. It means staying present without panic. It means choosing compassion while structures fall. It means acting with care when others react with fear. Cayce said old systems must fall because they no longer serve life. This includes economic systems, belief systems, and power structures. Their collapse can look like chaos, but it creates space for renewal. Many feel grief watching familiar things fade. This feeling is natural. But Cayce said attachment to old forms causes pain. When people cling to systems already empty, suffering grows. The Age of Aquarius asks for flexibility. Flow instead of resistance. Listening instead of shouting. Inner authority instead of blind obedience. These qualities protect the mind and steady the heart. People who live this way help calm the collective field. One calm person can ease many. One act of kindness can shift a tense space. Small choices matter more now than before. Cayce believed that light is not something mystical. It is clarity, honesty, and care in action. When people live these values, they strengthen the unseen structure that supports life. He said this age would reward those who trust inner guidance. Not reckless trust, but quiet listening. The more noise falls away, the clearer direction becomes. This is why many feel drawn to slow down, to simplify, to reconnect with nature and each other. These urges are signs of alignment with the new pattern. Cayce warned that fear-based identity would dissolve. Labels that divide would lose meaning. What remains is shared humanity. This can feel threatening to old systems built on separation. Yet he said hope grows quietly, not through force, but through steady presence. Those who hold awareness act as bridges between what is ending and what is forming. The role is not dramatic. It is patient. To stay awake. To stay kind. To stay balanced while change moves through the world. Every moment offers a choice. Not just a choice of action, but a choice of direction. Fear pulls one way. Awareness pulls another. One path leads to collapse and conflict. The other leads to growth and renewal. No one is forced onto either path. Each person chooses quietly through thought, feeling, and response. Many are taught to wait for rescue or blame fate. Cayce taught the opposite. He said humanity helps shape the timeline it walks on. When fear rules the mind, events harden. When awareness grows, outcomes soften. This is not fantasy. It is cause and effect working through consciousness. The old response is fear and destruction, panic, division, and survival at any cost. This path feeds chaos. It gives power to what breaks down life. It repeats the same story humanity has lived before. This road feels loud and urgent, but it leads to exhaustion. The new path is different. It is the path of the new earth. This does not mean a new planet. It means a new way of living on this one. A way guided by care, balance, and inner clarity. This path grows quietly. It begins inside the individual. Choosing this path starts with a clear inner decision. A simple statement carries strong power. Say it with calm intent. I am ready for the new earth. This is not a wish. It is a declaration. It aligns thought, emotion, and purpose. Cayce taught that such choices send signals. Conscious intent shapes direction. When many hold the same calm resolve, collective reality shifts. This does not remove challenge, but it changes how challenge moves through life. Declaring readiness is a signal to the larger field of life. It says fear no longer leads. It says awareness is active. It opens space for guidance. It sharpens intuition. It steadies response when pressure rises. This does not require perfection. No one lives without fear. The key is not feeding it. When fear appears, it can be observed, not obeyed. Calm action weakens fear's grip. This is how consciousness leads matter. As 2026 approaches, change will feel closer. Systems will continue to shift. Maps may change. Beliefs will be tested. This does not mean collapse must rule. It means choice matters more than ever. Remember Cayce's core teaching. Spirit is the life, mind is the builder, physical is the result. Spirit gives purpose. Mind shapes form. The physical world follows. This law has never failed. Staying in the light does not mean ignoring pain. It means responding without hatred. Being the calm does not mean doing nothing. It means acting without panic. Calm is not weakness. It is strength under control. Each calm choice steadies the path ahead. Each kind action weakens chaos. Each clear thought adds balance to the shared field. This is how new timelines form. No one walks this moment alone. Many feel the same pull toward clarity and meaning. These connections are not always visible, but they are real. The crossing is near. The future is not fixed. Stay aware. Stay steady. Stay aligned with life. See you on the other side.